as, again, their points ranking will be at least on Monday. But just a tough loss for the Cats. Had a chance to host if they'd won tonight. But, again, things didn't fall our way there late in the football game, and not a lot you could do about it. Is the safety and a touchdown and then a safety. And got to credit the defense for playing well all night long. Alex Atkins had the touchdown. We'll get to the score recap now. And first quarter quiet for both teams. Nobody scoring in that first quarter. Richlands would go up 3-0 with 6:48 to go in the second quarter. 43-yard field goal made by Levi Forrest. Makes it 9 field goals on the year. That was his second longest distance on the year. And he also came back and missed a 44-yarder. So it was 3-0 Richlands at the half as they went into the locker rooms. Third quarter, Cats came out, got a 3-and-out from Richlands, or actually gave up a first down, then got a punt. Alex Atkins, a couple of plays later, broke loose from 54 yards out into the end zone touchdown, and Cats took the lead at 7-3. That was at the 8.5-minute mark there in the third. Both teams would trade the football back and forth. Then we get to the fourth quarter, 10:08 to go. Moore would run it straight ahead, 3-yard touchdown run, 10-7 Richlands. The Cats, after that swing there, would get the ball at the 25, and first play from scrimmage, a holding penalty, sets them back to the 15. They just go backwards from there. Rose is held up in the backfield. And then the safety comes when Jamie Lathrop, trying to get the ball out of the end zone, hits down, and it's a 2-point swing, makes it 12-7, and that ended up being the final score. The Cats would get the ball back and try to do something with it, but of course we're unable to. Held up on 4th and goal. It was, or 4th down and 1 over on their own side of the field out near the 45. Had a chance at it, couldn't quite get it, and Richlands took the ball for the rest of the time. After that, close to 3.5 minutes left on the clock. Cats couldn't get the stop they needed. They had them. Could have possibly gotten the ball back with just over a minute left, but couldn't get the stop when it mattered at the pivotal time in the ball game on. But we will have to see again how the playoff seeding goes. But it looks like the Cats will be on the road for the first round playoff game next week. But even so, we've got a defense playing really, really good late in the season, and offense that needs to get back on kilter as things have been off the past couple of weeks with the offense. But coming up next on the Shoney's post-game show, we'll have the stats and the final Southwest District scoreboard update. We'll also do some of the plays of the game there, and we'll pick a player of the game for the Cats in this one. We'll be right back for the Shoney's post-game report as we continue from Richlands.
Bearcat Radio is brought to you by State Line Motors. Visit State Line Motors on Euclid Avenue in Bristol.
Hi, I'm Dustin Lynch. You don't have to listen to country music to know that life can be full of drama. Some of it you just can't control, like your girlfriend running out on you with your best friend. But there's some drama that you can skip.
Skip the drama that comes with not having your high school diploma or equivalency. Find free adult education classes near you and finish your diploma. Visit finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org.
You just need to take that first step and find free classes near you and start moving towards a brighter future and even your college degree.
Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Yet Council.
You're listening to Virginia High Bearcat football on Spreaker Radio.
Welcome back to Richlands, Virginia. The Cats unable to piece it together here for a win against Richlands as they take the loss in this one 12-7. Another low-scoring battle. The Cats won last week 13-7 over Marion, and Richlands able to battle it out defensively. And this was the defense. Didn't force any turnovers tonight, did Richlands. They had forced 7 last week, but tonight it was just keeping the Cats from getting first downs, forcing us to punt a lot. Of course, Brady out there dialing up all of our stats for us, so he's doing a good job probably down there as long as he's able to get it done safely. And that Richlands crowd, they're pretty happy about getting the win, Mark, but you're just now getting to join us for the post-game show. What are some takeaways from this game? I mean, the defense still playing lights out.
You know, and I think that's going to be the continuing factor. We always talked about this offense being the breakthrough point for this team. But they've been pretty limited the past couple of weeks. A lot of takeaways from the defensive side of the ball, I do believe.
Yeah, the defense played lights out again.
Matthew Dean with 4 sacks on the night.
Yeah, there's a lot to be happy about defensively, but again, you can't be happy with a loss, and I'm sure Coach Christ in there talking about execution, and we've said it a million times over the last 4 weeks. Penalties will absolutely kill you against good teams. Last week, penalties weren't an issue. Penalties have been the issue, though, for the bigger part of the year, and they were tonight for both teams.
And, I mean, honestly, you just shoot yourself in the foot when you're driving, and it's hard to get that momentum back.
Especially early. You talk about getting penalties early in drives. And
negative plays, Dylan.
Yeah.
Negative plays.
When you pile on a penalty with a negative play, it's just all going downhill for you. As, again, the final score 12-7 this afternoon. As, again, we wait on the stats from our statistician, Brady Malone. We'll go to the scoreboard update from tonight around the Southwest District and around the area. Start with 2 of the district games. Tazewell defeated Lebanon. It's like
53-0.
53-0. Wow. Lebanon up on Marion with
Graham
in the fourth. Graham up on Marion 30-22 in the fourth quarter. So Marion battling it out with the big boys. Graham.
They want it, don't they?
Want it bad. Is Abingdon 35. Looks like Lee nothing. Union 57, Battle 21. And Tennessee High loses tonight 41-15 in that first round playoff game against South Doyle. So South Doyle moves to 6-5 there in the East Tennessee side of things. Tennessee High's season now over. Both Bristol teams are going to make the playoffs. Don't know how close Battle is to making. I'm say Battle's very close.
I think Battle's sold. I think last time I looked at it, they were pretty close to having a solidified spot. I think they were that 5 spot. So
yeah, they were right there. So it'd be hard for them.
Or that 6
a lot of upsets would have had to happen
for Battle.
Crazy stuff. So let's look at the second half stats. Cats 1 for 4 on third down. Richlands 3 for 6. Fourth down, both teams were 0 for 1. Here's the difference in the ball game, Mark. If you ask me, time of possession, Richlands had the ball for 18 minutes and 30 seconds. The Cats had it for just 6 minutes and 30 seconds.
I think 5 minutes, 30 seconds.
Yeah, 5 minutes, 30 seconds.
Gosh, you can't read.
Gosh, no, I can't. I got to get Brady writing a little better. Cats just with 67 yards of offense in that second half. Richlands 138.
Bad part about it is a 52-yard run was the basis of that offense the second half.
Yeah, and the safety out there in the early in the fourth quarter, middle of the fourth quarter. Some key players in that second half. Alex Atkins, again, that 1 carry for 54 yards. Aaron Rose had 11 carries for 37 yards, so Richlands able to bottle him up tonight. Brown at quarterback, 4 carries for 30 yards. Race Moore, 9 for 13 passing for Richlands for close to 120 yards. 7 carries for 45 yards for Moore. And Seth Johnson, the running back, the power back, 16 carries, 90 yards. So just a lot of threats for Richlands. And this was the team tonight. They were on fire in the second half. Once they, things were looking bad for them. Alex Atkins breaks loose from 54 yards, but that just shows the resolve of this team and why they were able to, even after such a tough start, I mean, they were 3-6 coming into this thing. Still had a lot to play for, with the playoffs on the line, but this was a team that could have very easily came in and just, gave it up. But played hard and ended up getting a win against a stout Virginia High team.
Yeah, and like I talked about before the game, they didn't quit, and they didn't.
And Coach Chris said this was a team that was going to give them everything they got left in the tank, and Richlands did that tonight. And again, they'll sort of wait around and see about their playoff hopes, but it sounds like their hopes are dashed for that. But if so, this was a good win for Coach Mance in this to cap off a 2017 season that is one that they probably want to forget after this year, after the off season.
I think you need to start thinking about rethinking your schedule a little bit too.
Yeah, tough. But of course, they're always rebuilding here in Richlands, and that was just a tough loss tonight for the Cats. 12-7, a 5-point loss after just a 6-point win last week at Marion. And wonder who will draw next week. We'll just have to see. It's be on the road for sure. So Cats held again in that second half to just 67 yards. And
with
again,
a Marion loss,
we're
still back at the Gene next week. So something good to think about.
We'll have to make sure. We'll make sure if we're back at the Gene or not. I wouldn't say that on air with too much confidence.
That's what Harper told us. I feel pretty confident in what Harper says.
Mr. Harper, he could be right. We'll have to see. But you can keep up with that on Twitter and on Facebook, Bearcat Radio. Follow us, VHS Bearcat Radio, on Twitter, and then just search Bearcat Radio on Facebook. And, Mark, go ahead and take us now to player of the game.
How can you name anybody but Matthew Dean tonight? 4 sacks, always back there in the backfield, disrupted a lot of plays, caused 2 fumbles. I mean, 1 for sure, but, 1 was via Matthew Dean, but you don't see that in the stat sheet. Great effort by him tonight. He was playing lights out, and him and Thomas Barlow played well too. 2 great players on the defensive front for us tonight that did a great job.
Yeah, everybody flying to the football, but again, Richlands able to get out on the edge several times. Just end up getting the win this afternoon. Now I'll take us, I'm pretty sure I know what this is, but play of the game.
Oh, probably the Alex Adkins 52-yard run, 54-yard run.
Don't cut him short.
You don't get fantasy points for individual yards. Come on now.
Yeah, well, yeah, it was a good run, a big gap, probably the most running room of the year for the game for the Cats. And again, unfortunately, it won't add up to much. They did take the lead 7-3 on the run, so it was a clutch run. It actually, at the time, was more offensive yards than they had in the whole first half, and it almost ended up being more offensive yards than they about had in the second half. So the Cats unable to get a whole lot going after that. Is even after the 54-yard run, what did they have? I've already lost my spot here in the stats. They only had 67 yards after the 54-yard run.
Yeah, wow.
That's just 14 yards offense after that, and that was in the third quarter. So
you had all the momentum going your way, too.
That 4-3 defense was able to get a lot of pressure on Lathrop. He had no time in the pocket, and when he did, he couldn't get a break. There was good coverage down the field. Richlands is a stout football team.
Yeah, that's nothing to sleep on. And if they do make it in, you got some teams looking for a tough first-round opponent.
Yeah, that's true. They've played everybody close, and you just feel like as close as these guys are to reaching the precipice of getting a win. And, they finished the season with back-to-back wins. They beat Lebanon 52-7, and they defeat Virginia High tonight 12-7. So back-to-back weeks they've held opposing offenses. They held Marion to just 18 points, held Graham to 13. The last time they gave up, they haven't given up more than 20 points other than – well, they gave up 20 and 20. Actually, pardon me, Marion had 22, Graham had 20. So still not a lot against 2 very potent offenses. But, again, a tough loss tonight on a foggy afternoon in Richlands. And we're getting ready to sign off here from Richlands High School. And for that, again, we don't know where we'll be next week. You'll just have to stay tuned on Twitter and Facebook. Come out to Buffalo Wild Wings on
we'll give you some
Wednesday
good information on Wednesday.
You get it all there. 6:30 Wednesday night. We'll get all the information to you. I don't know who our guest will be yet, but we'll have all football.
Also, keep up with us on Twitter. We'll let you know.
Yeah, Twitter at VHS Bearcat Radio. Again, we thank State Line Motors for being a primary sponsor of Bearcat Radio. And, again, all the Bearcat listeners who tuned in tonight didn't get to make the trip. We're glad you were able to tune in. Unfortunately, the game didn't end the way we wanted it to, but still playoff time.
Something else to say thank you about. Folks, we've hit 4,500 listeners on our radio, so we really appreciate y'all listening, continuously tuning in and keeping up with us. It's been a lot of fun.
We're happy to get another game and hopefully a few more. We try to make a late push here in the playoffs. Cats, again, still playing really good football, and this was a good team we faced tonight. Nothing to hang their heads about, just a couple of plays here and there could have been made. But, again, when we started this thing a couple of weeks ago, or just a few weeks ago, it seems like, the John Battle game was our first broadcast. We barely knew the players' names. And,
now, do we even need a roster for Virginia High? That's a real question.
Yeah, that's amazing that we can go that far. But, again, all the support from the get-go with everybody listening, and we're excited for basketball season. We still got work to do here on the gridiron.
We got at least a couple more weeks left in us here on the football side.
We got about 5 more weeks left in us if the Cats can get it for us. So we'll see if they can do it.
I'll be here.
Yeah, we'll all be here for it. So
be a little busy whenever it comes basketball season, though, but we'll be there.
Yeah, we'll be there. So with that, we're going to go off there. We thank you for tuning in, from Dylan Hutton, Mark Harr, and Brady Malone, everyone else at Bearcat Radio. We thank you for tuning in, and good night from Richlands, where the Cats fall 12-7 in a barn burner in Coal Country.
Good night. God bless, and go Cats.
You're listening to Virginia High Football on Bearcat Radio on Spreaker.com.